The Boy and the Ember. In a wind-brushed town of cobblestone lanes and chiming bicycles, a boy named Ryan kept a secret ember in his chest. He was ordinary by every measure: average grades, a track record of half-finished projects, a pocket full of tomorrows. But each night, walking past the old smithy at the edge of the market, he felt heat on his face and a strange ache in his hands, as if something inside him wanted to be hammered into form. From the doorway, Master Cade watched him linger. Cade was not the kind of man who spoke more than necessary. His hair was the color of hearth ash, his eyes, the iron gray of cooled steel. When Ryan paused for the third evening in a row, Cade finally said, "If you're going to stare at fire, at least learn its language." Ryan stepped inside, nervous, curious. The forge breathed like a living animal, bellows exhaling, coals murmuring. Tools hung on pegs like sleeping birds, and an Endel sat patient as a mountain. Cade nodded at a bench. "Sit. Tell me what you want." Ryan opened his mouth and out tumbled a dream. Not fame, not fortune, just the odd certainty that his life could be shaped, that people could make things that outlasted their excuses. "I want to be great," he said, embarrassed. "But I'm not very good at starting. Or finishing." Cade shoveled coal, sparks fireflies in the dusk. "Great is a word for monuments," he said. "What we do here is daily. If you still want it, come at dawn. If you don't, keep walking past." He shoved a broom into the boy's hands. "Start by sweeping. Nothing big begins big." Outside, the night tasted of smoke and the possibility of a different tomorrow. For once, Ryan did not promise. Later. He set his alarm and put the broom by his door. The Andel's first lesson. Dawn arrived blue and chilly. Ryan arrived earlier. He swept until the floorboards shone like black tea. Cade glanced at the clock and said nothing, which Ryan learned was Cade's version of approval. "Rule 1, the master said. Arrive before the doubt does." He placed the simple task on the bench: polish 6 horseshoe blanks. "Do not leave until 6 are done." By noon, Ryan had 4 and a smudge across his cheek that looked like war paint. He reached for water. Cade put a hand on the cup. "You can drink when you learn to finish. A day with unfinished things drips into the next like a leaking roof." Ryan swallowed his complaint and kept polishing. 6 shoes. Done. Cade marked a line in chalk across the floor. "Step over this when you have done what you said you would do today. Not 1 minute sooner." He tapped the boy's chest with a soot-stained finger. "Promises to yourself are the first medals we test." That night Ryan slept like a hammer forgotten on the bench. In the morning, he woke before his alarm. A small habit had clicked into place, quiet as a latch in the dark. The furnace ritual. On the 3rd day, Cade taught him to wake the fire. "Air, fuel, spark, order," he recited. "A forge without order is a tantrum." He showed Ryan how to feed the coals, how to hold the tongs like a handshake, firm but not cruel. "You will burn yourself. That is part of the grammar." They built a 5-minute ritual: light the coals, check the tools, note one priority, speak it aloud. No speeches. No mood needed. Just a sentence. "Today I will draw out 3 nails straighter than yesterday." The ritual made Ryan feel like a person who had a purpose even when he did not yet have skill. Purpose, he learned, is habit wearing work boots. Each afternoon, Cade asked the same question. "What did you repeat?" Not what was brilliant, not what was new, what was repeated. Ryan realized that repetition was not boredom. It was a kind of prayer with proof. The nail and the river. Ryan's first nail bent like a question mark. The second was a little less sad. By the 9th, it almost pretended to be straight. Cade held it to the light. Rivers carve stone by repetition. Nails, too. He told Ryan to bundle the nails in 10s with twine and record them on a wall ledger. 10 per day to start, no excuses. A single nail is nothing. 1,000 nails hold a city together. Ryan failed on day 4. Only 8 nails. He stared at the ledger, ashamed. Cade pointed at the empty space and said, "Do not erase the truth. Do not decorate the failure. Write it. Then tomorrow, repair. The next day, Ryan made 12. He did not feel triumphant. He felt consistently accountable, which turned out to be better. The spark that waited. Weeks melted. Ryan learned the sounds of heat, the hush of ready iron, the hiss of impatience. He began to enjoy the quiet victories: a nail true, a shoe balanced, a handle fitted snug. One evening, a customer arrived, an older woman with map-like hands. She watched Ryan work and said, "Your hammer rings honest." Ryan glowed. After she left, Cade said, "Compliments are like sparks, bright, gone. Do not chase sparks. Build the fire that makes them obvious." He tapped the ledger. "Your fire is here." Ryan added a new habit: 2 pages of reading after supper, on craft and character. He underlined sentences like, "Do it afraid. Finish small. Beware your hands are." The words felt like wet clay in his head, taking shape under steady pressure. The rule of 2 minutes. Trouble returned disguised as fatigue. One rain-heavy morning, Ryan wanted to skip everything. The bed was a harbor, the world a storm. He remembered something he'd read: if you don't want to do the whole thing, do 2 minutes of the thing. He rolled out of bed, lit the coals, and promised himself just 2 minutes at the anvil. 2 minutes became 20. The day became another brick in the unseen wall he was building. That evening, Cade handed him a small brass coin stamped with a hammer. "4 days you show up despite," Cade said. "Not because of." Ryan kept the coin in his pocket, a warm reminder that beginning is a habit and momentum is a consequence. The market of mirages. On festival week, the market filled with shortcuts, gadgets that promised results with no sweat, trinkets that glittered like answers. Ryan almost bought a self-sharpening edge guide he didn't need. Cade stopped him with a look. "Tools magnify habits. They do not replace them." He gestured to the forge. "Be careful what magnifies you." That afternoon a street orator shouted, "Success overnight!" and sold scrolls of empty advice. Ryan glanced at Cade. The master shrugged. "Mushrooms grow overnight," he said. "Oaks take years. Which do you want to be?" On the walk home, Ryan deleted 2 games from his phone and set a limit on his entertainment. 40 minutes after supper, timer on. It hurt for 3 days. Then it stopped hurting. In the new white space, he found silence, and in silence, he found his hands. The whisper of steel. Cade finally let Ryan shape a small chisel. It was not a grand thing, but it was his. He heated the stock, watched it glow cherry then orange, drew it out, brushed the scale. His strokes were clumsy but honest. "Listen," Cade murmured. "Steel will tell you when it's ready. It whispers. Do not raise your voice above it." Ryan quenched too early. The tool cracked, a tiny heartbreak. He wanted to hide it. Cade said, "Put it on the wall." Ryan pinned the broken chisel beside the ledger, a reminder that what breaks teaches. He made another. This one sang when it struck. He did not shout. He smiled like someone finally hearing his name. The 3 gratitudes. Some nights the town felt heavy, the news, the noise, the scroll of other people's lives. Ryan began a 3-line ritual before bed: 1 thing he learned, 1 thing he finished, 1 thing he was grateful for. Most nights the list was simple: learned, the color of ready steel; finished, 10 nails; grateful, clean apron, warm bread. But on the 20th night, he wrote, "Grateful, that I am not who I was a month ago." He didn't feel transformed. He felt in transit, which turned out to be the point. Kay noticed the difference in his posture, the way he lifted the hammer with his whole back, the way he put tools away without being told. "You are becoming trustworthy," Cade said. "To yourself?" The bell that would not sing. A traveling merchant commissioned a small garden bell, delicate as a teacup, tone clear enough to charm birds. Ryan sketched, measured, and got it wrong 3 times. The 4th time was closer, the 5th cracked with a sulk. He wanted to curse the metal. Cade put a hand on his shoulder. When sound won't come, check the maker before the making. Ryan realized he'd skipped his morning ritual for 2 days, on account of hurry. He restored it. 5 minutes to light the forge, 1 sentence for the day, 1 deep breath with his hand over the ember in his chest. The 6th bell rang a note like rain on a copper roof. The birds agreed. The storm and the lantern. A storm blew in hard enough to pull shutters loose. The forge went dark. Cade handed Ryan a battered lantern. "Every craft has a dark season," he said. "We practice now for when the lights go out." They worked by the lantern's small sun, slow and sure. Ryan's mind wanted to rush. The lantern refused. He found a new gear, careful. When the storm passed, the town looked rearranged. People came needing repairs, dozens of small urgent fixings. Cade smiled, thin, tired. Greatness is often 100 small kindnesses in a row. The trick is being ready when the town knocks. Ryan's ledger filled like rain barrel in spring. The apprentice who taught himself. Cade left for 3 days to source special steel. "No shortcuts," he warned. Ryan nodded, terrified. The first morning alone, he nearly panicked. Then he remembered the rules. Arrive before doubt, 5-minute ritual, say the priority aloud, make the first 2 minutes. He wrote a note to himself and pinned it by the bellows, do the next honest stroke. Customers came, work happened. On the second evening, a young boy hovered in the doorway the way Ryan once had. Ryan handed him the broom. "If you're going to stare at fire, learn its language." The boy grinned, sweeping. Ryan felt something unclench in his chest. Habits, it turned out, were contagious. The edge of patience. Cade returned to find the shop in order, jobs logged, coins counted, ledger truthful. He picked up a chisel Ryan had made solo. "Too brittle," he said, and broke it with a twist. Ryan swallowed his pride. "Show me." They reheated, tempered, and waited, the hardest part. "See?" Cade said. "There's a patience you cannot fake. Steel knows if you rush." Ryan thought of his life before the forge, rushing, quitting, scrolling, starting again. He understood now. He hadn't been lazy. He'd been impatient. He wrote on the wall, "If you rush the heat, you weaken the edge." The commission of quiet importance. A widow from the hillside brought a folded letter and a request, a gate latch for her cottage, simple and sturdy. No ceremony, no flourish. "It should hold in storms," she said. Ryan drew, measured, and made 3 prototypes. He tested them in the alley against the post until his shoulder ached, adjusting millimeter by millimeter. When he installed the latch, the widow closed her door and hugged him awkwardly. "It will keep me safe," she whispered. On the walk back, Ryan understood something that no headline could teach. Usefulness is a form of love. He added a gratitude that night, grateful for work that holds when people need it to. The trial by festival. A year rounded the calendar. The town festival returned, this time with a contest, forge a piece that speaks of who you are. Ryan planned a sword, dramatic and gleaming. Then he caught his reflection in the anvil and laughed. "Who I am," he murmured, "is 1,000 small, honest strokes." He made a hinge, 2 leaves, 1 pin, beautiful in its humility. He polished it until it caught dawn. On contest day, the crowd hushed at the swords and chandeliers. Ryan laid down his hinge. A child pointed. "Is it magic?" Ryan smiled. "It's a promise, doors that open, doors that close. Lives swing on such things." The judges nodded in that quiet way older craftsmen do when they see themselves in younger hands. Ryan did not win the prize. He won something better, recognition in the eyes of his own craft. The reckoning with someday. A cousin visited with news of a flashy job in the city, less soot, more status. Ryan almost said yes, someday, tried to take the wheel. That night he laid out his ledger, his rituals, his little brass coin. He noticed how the days linked like chainmail. He realized he didn't want a different life. He wanted this life, done deeply. He told the cousin, "I'm staying." The cousin shrugged. Suit yourself? Ryan went to the forge and lit the coals with gratitude so loud it felt like a song. The master's secret. Cade grew slower. He coughed more. One late evening he handed Ryan an old, smoke-stained notebook, the book of methods, sketches, temperatures, failures, notes to self. On the last page, a sentence: "We are not made by one great day. We are made by the day we keep." Ryan felt something shift, a weight but good. "Take the shop when I'm done," Cade said softly. "Not today, but one day." Ryan said nothing. He simply gripped the notebook and the master's forearm until both men understood what had just been promised. The night the forge went silent. Cade's passing was not dramatic. He went like a coal that had done its work. The town brought bread and stories. Ryan opened the shop at dawn and did the ritual because he did not know what else to do. He named the priority aloud with a voice that broke on the edges. He made 10 nails that were not perfect and a hinge that was. He wrote in the ledger, "Finished despite grief." He added a gratitude, "Thank you for the hand that placed the hammer in mine." The furnace of legacy. Years layered like scale on old iron. The shop grew, but not all at once. Ryan trained apprentices. He kept the chalk line on the floor, cross only after you finish. He taught the 5-minute ritual, the 2-minute rule, the 3 gratitudes, the ledger that never lied. Visitors came asking for grand pieces. Ryan accepted some, declined others. His true pride was in the things people touched every day and never thought about because they simply worked. A newspaper wrote about the craftsman who brought back the hinge. Ryan laughed. What he had brought back was attention to small things done well, again and again, in a world allergic to waiting. The hammer passed on. One autumn morning, a new kid appeared in the doorway, shy and stubborn in the way Ryan recognized from his own beginnings. "I don't finish things," the kid admitted. Ryan handed over the broom. "Start with the floor," he said. "Nothing big begins big." He didn't tell the kid about prizes, or fame, or the newspaper article tacked, forgotten, behind a cabinet. He taught him how to listen to steel, how to light a fire when his mood said, "Stay in bed," how to keep a ledger that did not flinch. He watched the kid make his first nail, crooked, courageous, and said the same words Cade had once said to him. "Promises to yourself are the first metals we test." Ryan touched the old brass coin in his pocket. It had worn smooth from years of being turned during hard days. He set it on the bench where the kid could see it but not yet touch. Earned things glowed differently. The Oath of Small Fires, finale. On the forge wall, Ryan kept a sentence by Cade and added one of his own beneath it. Together they read like a vow. "We are not made by one great day. We are made by the day we keep. Keep enough days, and the world will call it destiny. If you walk past the edge of the market at dawn, you'll still hear that river sound of work, that patient music of iron against intention. You'll see faces new and old repeating invisible rituals that nobody applauds because they don't need to be applauded to matter. Doors swing, gates hold, bells sing in gardens, and nobody knows why they feel steadier, only that they do. And somewhere, a kid stands in a doorway with a broom, wondering if this is how it starts. It is. It always is. With the floor swept before the doubt wakes. With one honest sentence said out loud. With 2 minutes that become a life. The mythographer, if this story put a spark in your chest, tell us below. What tiny ritual will you start tomorrow morning? What will your ledger say by week's end? Which excuse are you retiring today? Like, share, and subscribe if you believe small fires can warm an entire town. And if you need a sign to begin, here it is, begin.